Welcome to the Axellent Gaming Show. I'm your host, Fondas, and I'm here with your co-host...
The DandyBanterer.
Oh
Right,
yeah.
so I am.
And
Today we're joined by the notorious JLP. Hi there.
Hi. Wow, what a great show to be on.
Hey, welcome
Finally
to the
got
show.
somebody who actually speaks English.
Well, sort of a tacky English.
You what, mate?
Oh, there you go.
Hi.
How's your week's been, Dandy?
Well, my week's been it's been all right. I'm a healthy chap. My money's running a bit low, but other than that, last weekend was great. As I announced the last time that we had a podcast, there would be the Global Game Jam. I've been up in there, been very active, met a lot of cool people, made a really cool game, and ever since I'm back, I'm not doing much really. That's my life story in a week.
Well, what's the game's name? We'll get back to the Global Game Jam later on the show, but what's the game's name that you made?
The game's name we made was The Apprentice.
The Apprentice, so that sounds forbidden.
Yes.
Ooh.
Foreboding, I guess.
Foreboding. Alright. How's your week been, JLP?
Absolutely fantastic. I started off my new Pornhub channel, One Pump Man, where I attempt to last more than 10 seconds, as I lack any sort of self-confidence. I've conducted many STDs, and now I'm here. I actually have to go to the doctor soon, because I've chlamydia.
That's why they call you the notorious JLP, is it?
One pump, and I'm done. That's it. That's all I need.
Alright, just for reference, I will not be including the Pornhub link in the video, but feel free to search for it. Send them a private message, but it has to contain something naughty. You can make another 10 videos out of that.
But just one pump.
One pump. That's it. There's no more.
Right, and how about you, Fondas? How have you been up to?
It's been a cool and relaxing week. Got some things done. I created a banished village with my housemates. We started playing Banish in the living room, sometimes in the evening. And turns out Banish is actually quite a good living room game.
Really?
Yeah. It's really chill. You just sit around all evening, and sometimes someone makes a part of a town, and then another someone makes part of a town, and they argue, and then it's all fine.
Is Banished, is that a tabletop game?
No, Banished is a indie game, an indie city builder game in which you sort of casually build up your small medieval / colonial town in this really serene setting.
Right, and you play it via your Steam link.
Yeah, right. Via my Steam link. So that's turned out to be really cool.
I must say I played Banished when it started off. I'm not sure if they've changed too much. It's mostly sort of survival game rather than a city builder, I would argue.
It depends on how you play it, because if you can tackle the survival, that becomes a city building game. It hasn't changed a lot. The base game hasn't changed a lot, but there's this really cool and extensive mod pack out called Colonial Charter that keeps getting updated. That adds all these production chains. Colonial Charter, it's called. You can find it on the workshop if you own Banished, and it adds so many production lines to your Banished town, so many ways to do more cool stuff, do more cool buildings, that it becomes a real city builder in which there are survival aspects. I mean, a major starvation in your city is still a disaster. All
right.
At least they have candles to keep them warm, and the ability to farm cheese even though everyone around them is dying.
Farm cheese?
Well, you farm cows, and they produce milk, and they make cheese in the dairy.
Right.
So, yeah.
All right.
That's been my week.
That's interesting. I guess I'll let the listeners decide if that's interesting. Upvote to downvote, guys. That's it. So we finally got a new show going on. It's been a while. I guess. But the planning is that we make it a bit more frequent nowadays, doesn't it? Fondas?
Yeah, and this is like every 2 weeks. We're supposed to, so every 2 or 3 weeks we're going to do one. So we'll try and stick to 2 shows per month. That sounds about right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're trying to tell you all the greatest information out there about games, the stuff we've done, and of course make a couple of jokes in between.
A couple of bad jokes.
Bad jokes, yeah. There is that.
Well, it's February, and since the last show, of course, the previous 2 shows have been all about 2015 and 2016. But as we all know, that after the December months have gone by, game news and game-related topics are always coming to a slow halt. So in the Netherlands, we actually have a word for this called Komkommer Maand or Cucumber Month.
Cucumber month, right?
Yeah, Cucumber Month, which basically means that there's no news to talk about, so you talk about cucumbers.
Which is not a Pornhub reference, by the way.
No, although it could be.
Again.
Maybe next in this series, next to One Punch Man, there's Cucumber Month. But a little bit of news has happened. And I'm going to give the talk to Dandy because he has a lot to talk about this. Dandy, what kind of news, sad or happy news, has there been in the gaming world?
All right. Well, I've been out looking at news of the gaming world, and nothing much has really passed my interest. I mean, we got the VR thing going about right now with the Oculus Rift. It's doing okay. You know, sales are pre-order sales are okay. It's nothing really interesting to note about that. But I guess that the most interesting things that got my attention are that 2 great game writers have left the field. That's right, game writers, people. Those are the things that have my focus.
Alright, so entirely left the field, just left the games industry.
No. They left. These were people who were sort of they were employed, not part-time but full-time at a games company. And this one includes Mark Laidlow, who was the writer of Half-Life, and obviously was employed by Valve for at least about 18 years. And he's left to do something else. That's his thing. He's sort of been stuck with Valve for a long time. He feels that it's time for him to move on and to find new challenges to work on.
Alright, so the Half-Life writer is done. Does that mean that the story for Half-Life 3 is complete? And that means that Half-Life 3 is now confirmed? No. Dear.
They went like, alright, so he left, which means Half-Life 3 is confirmed.
Alright, so Half-Life 3 is confirmed. You heard it.
I think he might have worked on it and left, just like you said.
Yeah, alright, so you hear that here first on the Axellent Gaming Show. Half-Life 3 is confirmed.
I'm very sure there's nobody out there else who can confirm Half-Life 3.
Of course not.
Right, and the other thing that had my attention was David Gator, who is the lead writer on the Dragon Age series, and several other things, has left BioWare after 17 years, which is also a bit similar to 18 years, but exactly the same reason and motivation. David Gator just put a tweet out there saying, some news, I must sadly announce that after 17 years, today is my last day at BioWare. Okay. I miss my team and wish everybody here the best. Which had about almost 700 retweets. So that's been a very popular little tweet there. And once again, David just said he's going to take a short pause, like he's going to take a short break, and then afterwards he'll see what happens in his life. But I'm assuming that he's going to stay in the game writing field, and he'll probably get a job. I'm very sure both these guys are excellent writers, and when it comes to game writing, these characters, these people are obviously looked up to. I mean, Mark Laidlow, writer of Half-Life. When people are talking about story games, Half-Life is very often up in there as having something, having inspired so many people. Mm-hmm. So at the moment, Mark just, I suppose he doesn't even have to write a resume or anything. He just sort of just text message a buddy of him saying, "Hey, need a writer?" I'm very sure he'll get full-time employed in that. And the same thing obviously goes for Gator. So yeah, those are the few things I've noticed that have happened and took my attention of January 2016. Slow start, bit of negative news, I guess, especially for other people out there looking for game writing jobs, because two biggies are up there now too. So, how about you guys? You guys got anything else news for today?
Well, not really gaming related. I've been trying to find gaming related news. I do, of course, have to have some big news regarding to XCOM 2 coming out today. In actually, let's see, 5 hours from now. In exactly 5 hours, I will be playing that game, hopefully.
You can get through the Steam download server. But before we go into XCOM 2, should we quickly write about game writing? How do we feel about that? In the sense that I know a lot of games come out nowadays that seem to have less story. Would you agree with that? Would you disagree with that?
I would absolutely disagree with that.
You would disagree.
The thing that you might mean is that a lot of games are coming out nowadays, and therefore you might notice that a lot of them are focused on very simple gameplay mechanics. But nevertheless, a game writer has become a very critical element of almost every design team at this point, especially the mobile games, because those need people who are able to write short and snappy text that keep people's attention at all time, and are able to write like an ongoing narrative that never stops. And being a designer doesn't automatically make you a writer. You know, being a director doesn't automatically make you a screenwriter. And what you see is that people who actually have an understanding of how to write text down and make it interesting, and especially the type of people who know how to write text down, make it interesting and non-linear and interactive, they're worth gold in the industry. So I wouldn't say that it's getting worse. I would say it's getting better and better and better.
Yeah, I'd agree. And what would your opinions be on Telltale games that are sort of devoid of normal gameplay and are more about telling a story with options?
Well, quite interesting. I don't know if you've listened to our last podcast, but I made a mention of the Telltale games, especially the Game of Thrones one. I have played The Wolf Among Us and the Game of Thrones Telltale games, and I have also played The Walking Dead together with Fondas. I must say that they're not my type of games. And this has nothing to do with the way that they tell story. This mostly has to do with just the fact that, the gameplay out there is meant to address a large spectrum of people, and therefore sort of be, just the gameplay is just there to advance the story, really, which in itself is apparently very successful. I mean, they're drawing a lot of attention to themselves. They're selling a lot of games, so people want this, and that means that minimal gameplay is the same thing as good gameplay. If it works for the type of things that people want, it's out there. And the story's not bad. The stories are good, and they're very enjoyable. And even if I don't always agree with them, because I know I'm currently looking at the last episode of the Game of Thrones games, and I'm not really looking forward to playing it, because I feel I've been overly punished by this point. I don't like being punished for no reason, and that is what the Game of Thrones game is all about. So they got the theme right. It's a pity that you have to play it.
Definitely, just as brutal as the TV show. Yeah, so I'm glad writing is getting better, because I don't know, just if I look to certain game franchises like Call of Duty, there is a huge room for improvement in storytelling, or say FPS games, for example. They've really been dragging behind in writing.
I mean, many people will agree with you on that, but FPS writing is... It is how you look at it, and FPS writing is meant to be a simple action movie, and that's what most of the Call of Duty campaigns are. They are simply a action movie that you go through in a couple of hours. You play the game, and there's a lot of action, and there's a lot of bad stuff happening, a lot of explosions, and I play the Call of Duty campaign specifically for that. It's like, right now I want to spend an afternoon playing a average action movie, but I'm playing it, so it's way more fun than simply watching a regular action movie. And in that regard, it does it well. I think that writing has improved a lot since you can offer a lot more of the story on screen. If the only thing you can do is either text-based or pixel-based, then text-based obviously is going to involve a lot of story, and pixel-based are the rest of all the games. But until you can actively make that story through how the graphics how the graphics look, because
you mean like video story?
Like video story, but also just simple story in game, because parts of Call of Duty is a good example of that, are just simply a mix between level design and cutscenes in between, and some voice that talks to you during the mission, and it works really well for what it does, because you are able to make interesting scene parts or cutscene parts or animations. I mean, if your stick figure character consisting out of 36 pixels is just going up and down all of the time while there's an enormous long story playing, then it's obviously way harder to keep the attention of people if the story is just playing while there's a lot of cool animations going on around it, like in Call of Duty.
Yeah, and I'd like to say that arguably FPSs have been driving narrative in games to some degree. This might sound a bit controversial, but when you think about it, games like Killzone, which is a first-person shooter, have been focused solely on story in their games. And all of that is atmospheric storytelling. You know, the storytelling is done via video, via the levels that you're walking through. A lot of it's done through cutscenes, and all these cutscenes are, you know, the entire studios, like Blizzard, for example, has an entire studio devoted to making cutscenes, which has animators and writers and everything on board just to tell a little bit of story in the greatest amount of detail as possible. I mean, the visual detail, obviously. So even though game writing might not be considered to be, you know, just the best possible when it comes to first-person shooters, I do think that they have had a great influence in game writing at large, especially if you consider Half-Life in there. I mean, it's a first-person shooter. Right. It's one of the best written stories out there for games.
Right, but it's just comparing it to, if your game looks more like a movie than, for instance, like a board game board, then story inherently becomes more important. Because Absolutely. As you're watching stuff, you need to keep kept interested in what you're watching. And nowadays, with the graphics that most games have, most AAA games have, if you're playing a game, then you're also at that same time experiencing the environment, listening to all the sounds, enjoying the scenery, enjoying the animation. So it's partly playing, but it's also partly watching. Now the Telltale games obviously take that to the entire next level, by mostly having you watch and sometimes having you play.
Yeah, and also I guess that there's something interesting to be said there about how story is told, because with first-person shooters, a lot of the story is told through the atmosphere, through the environment. Where, for example, Telltale stories are told through characters, people doing stuff, and you know, taking emotional blows and threatening gamers, or threatening players, I should say, throughout the game. That all is a character, a personal drama experience.
Right.
And a game like Legend of Zelda or any other action game has story more focused on, you know, your actions. The story is wholly dependent on the people that you meet, the type of emotional bond that you gain with them, and the stuff that you do, which is obviously an adventure game, so you go out on an adventure, or I should say an action adventure game, since adventure games are still considered to be the Telltale type of games nowadays. But yeah, with that said, I think game writing is one of the most important things currently in games. I'm not going to say the most important thing, but because arguably, that's what I always been taught. is that, unlike films, you can't make a film without like a movie script. You can go about and film stuff, but the odds are very likely that you can't make a cohesive film out of it.
Mhm.
It's very easy to make a video game without a game script.
Unless you're designing specifically a Telltale game, because then you will need... You have to treat it like it's a movie. And
Absolutely.
the Telltale games are inherently more towards interactive movies than they are video games. Yet still fall in that category. So, yeah, and especially with AAA games, movie or story becomes more and more important. So I really want to go on to XCOM 2 right now, because I've been...
I can sense your excitement on this. Go.
I'm absolutely bursting to talk about XCOM 2. I've played XCOM 1 extensively, and with extensively I mean really extensively, and even made a board game about the XCOM.
Yeah, you did. It's actually not bad. It's a very good game, even.
Yeah, and I really intend to continue working on that. But first, XCOM 2 is coming out, and that's of course gonna hamper in that direction. But it also might inspire me a lot. XCOM 2 coming out tonight in now 5 hours and 50 minutes. Or 4 hours and 50 minutes, so thank you for those 10 minutes. Basically, if you've played XCOM 1, XCOM 2 is set after XCOM 1. XCOM 1 was all about you are the commander of the organization called Xcom, and you are leading the defense of Earth against an alien invasion. XCOM 2 states that you lost that invasion. So the aliens have taken over the world, and 20 years after the aliens have settled in and convinced everyone that they are now the supreme overlords, XCOM is revamped and is now a guerrilla warfare organization. So now you are appointed commander of this guerrilla warfare organization that, by the way, floats around, has their base in a giant movable alien captured ship. So instead of you having a base and the world around you have to protect it, you are now a mobile command center that flies around the world, trying to disrupt the alien presence. XCOM 2 being a tactical shooter, meaning that there's a board, there's a set of tiles in there, and you have your soldiers and the alien presence, or the enemy soldiers on those tiles, and you move your characters one by one through defensive terrain, and you try to find the perfect spot to ambush an alien checkpoint, or to assault an alien base, or to disrupt some convoy or whatever. But you are on defensive here, so you begin out stealth, and there's all these civilians around, you set up. It's all about setting up the correct positions and then ambushing the first patrol that comes around. And that's how you basically play the game. There's a lot of ways to upgrade your characters. Of course, character do have permadeath, and you become attached to those characters. So it can be a very brutal game. Although I've heard that the normal mode, or the soldier mode, is fairly easy if you've already played the first XCOM. So they recommend to start it on hard. The third difficulty, if you want a challenge. And XCOM was all about the challenge, of course. So there's a lot of way to customize your people. There's a ridiculous amount of customization options just cosmetically. They can have customized guns. They have their own voice packs in different languages depending on where they come from.
That's interesting about the voice packs. Should I make my all-star Dutch XCOM team?
I don't know exactly which languages are all in there. I know from the previous XCOM series there were about 8 languages in there, including German, Brazilian, Spanish, etc., etc.
Too mainstream.
I believe
all the time I go to languages. I'm like, I wonder if it's in Dutch. Nope, German.
but XCOM 2...
You have to play the old school worms to get your Dutch language.
XCOM 2 is supposed to have more languages, so that's the point. And another thing I want to point out, XCOM 2 is the segue into Long War Studios, which I'm also pretty excited about. Long War Studios are the people that made Long War. Long War being a extensive mod for XCOM Enemy Known and Enemy Within, XCOM 1. They made an extensive mod and lots of people enjoyed it even to today. They have progressed into becoming a studio, And from day one, they are bringing out 3 mods for XCOM 2. So right when XCOM 2 launches, those mods will be available. Long War having a reputation of making the game progressively harder and more unforgiving, but also more expanding. So they'll have free mods ready for you at launch. I'm really keen on seeing what they're going to do with that. I do have a link there to specify what mods they're gonna come from, gonna make. So I did look at these mods, and they're pretty cool.
Just as a little in between for those who are listening, it is not true that Fondas is a huge nerd of XCOM. This is a lie.
No. XCOM, I barely even touched it. So they're bringing out 3 mods. One, the SMG weapon series mod. So they're coming with a new series of weapons that they're going to be including into the game with that mod. A new enemy type and a new way of having different soldiers become leaders. So there are small mods. They've been known from the Long War mod. Most people who play XCOM also played Long War. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what that studio is going to do. I believe they're also working on their own IP. IP being their own intellectual property.
Really?
So their own original game.
What makes you think they do now?
Because they announced it. They are working on an XCOM-like game. Yeah.
So they're going to do a strategy-like game.
Yeah.
All right.
Not much is known about it, but it's cool to see that a group of modders just comes together and makes a successful mod about something, and then transfers over into becoming an actual studio.
Well, that's actually quite common nowadays.
It's common. It's more common, and I find it really really cool to see.
Yeah, definitely. When it also involves your favorite game series being modded.
So yeah, XCOM 2. I've done my rant.
Are you ready to get playing in a few hours?
Absolutely, it's 4 hours and 40 minutes.
Will we see a let's play of it, or are you just gonna play?
No, yeah. No, it's absolutely going to be a let's play. I'm going to. I've refrained for watching too many gameplay videos, so lots of things are going to be new for me. And it's going to be awesome. Just going to discover the game with my viewers.
Now, could you make a character in your let's play for me, Gus Mavis?
Absolutely, and there's such an extensive customization options in there that I could make him really look like Gus Mavis.
Can he be? I feel, what role would Gus Mavis be? Would it be a sniper? Would he be the run and gun?
No. With that beer belly, he's going to be the heavy gunner.
He's the heavy gunner. Send him in if he dies. Oh well.
Well, if you need inspiration, I'd love to be on the team as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put you guys in there, Guus Meeuwis, and a couple of other guys. It's going to be fun.
Fantastic.
All right, looking forward to this one.
Uh-huh.
All right. So. Oh!
Well, we wanted to integrate a new section in between these talks, and that is the "Are you looking for a job in the game industry?" section. Well, this is the place for you.
Yeah, so Fondas and I have been talking about this just now. Seeing how I am a person currently looking for a job in the games industry, and I'm looking for a new function. I'm in between projects at the moment. I've got a new project going on, but I'm always looking for work and work possibilities. So I'm so on top of what's out there when it comes to jobs that I thought it might be a fun section to put in here. Although, to be honest, it would be a bit nicer if we could do this after the break. Because I think I might need a little bit more of research
Okay.
before I actually start talking about this. Because I got a couple of links open. I mean, obviously I have done my own research. But like I said, give me a little bit of time and I can then rant on for those who are interested.
All right. Then we'll continue to GTA Online first, and then we'll do that job thing after the break.
Oh, GTA Online. We've played a lot of this recently, haven't we, Fondas?
Yes, we have. I've also did a GTA Online LAN party like 2 weeks ago with my housemates and a couple of other guys, and we did all heists on hard with the same people in first person in order. So got a lot of money for that. But there's also been a couple of new things out for GTA. They've come with a couple of patches. No, the hackers are not gone. So don't worry, you can still get your free money and Rockstar won't do shit about it. But what they did add was a couple of ways to spend that not hard-earned money. And that is through the buying of customizable yachts, buying of customizable lowriders and apartments. And I believe they've also added like Parachute Challenge 2 days ago. I haven't played it. Have you, JLP?
No, not yet. I need to though.
Yeah, we had the opportunity yesterday, but decided to do some races instead.
So with GTA Online, really,
Yeah.
I'm actually quite surprised to hear that it's still online.
yeah, so I'm gonna say they're still updating it, which is great. But I feel with the online of GTA, for me, I haven't finished. Actually, I barely got into the GTA single player. It didn't really do much for me.
Oh, you should finish it.
Yeah, but I felt that the online is just such great sandbox fun. It's so great. My one complaint would be money. Like it's very broken in terms of how expensive some things are and how cheap other things are. It's a bit all over the place, to be honest.
Example?
An example would be, say, so on the day of release, the most expensive house was it about $1 million?
Yeah.
Apartment, and now they've released a new version of that you can customize yourself.
Yeah.
But you don't get any sort of refund if you want or like a discount for transferring that house.
Yeah, you got to buy a new apartment for that, which I got to buy. Yeah.
Well, that heist money. Again with heists, I still think the heist system of only having one life when you're with maybe random people, there's a lot of loading time, I would argue.
But you don't if you put it on normal, or easy even. I believe on easy you have 2 lives, and on normal you have 1 life. So yeah, put it on hard with random people. It's usually not gonna work out for any game, for any cooperative game. So that's just common knowledge. But yeah, indeed, the 0 lives, coupled with the extensive amount of loading times on your servers. I've had my housemate actually, he had GTA on his solid state drive, and he just removed it from his solid state drive because it doesn't matter how fast your computer is, the server loading times are just so increasingly long. Sometimes you just wait for 4 minutes.
I whack it on and walk away. But again, they are very good at updating the game.
They are. Not removing hackers, or modders, as they like to call themselves.
Well, the interesting thing is, though, that Rockstar Studios has not announced any new titles yet. So, and as far as I know, they are still recruiting people. So I guess that a lot of that attention is currently going towards, updating the existing games.
Well, it's the amount of attention is not going towards hacker removal. That's for sure.
It must be said, though, I think... Didn't they do something quite controversial at the start of GTA 5? There was some hacking... No, not hacking. There was some banning if you modded the game and went online.
Yeah, there was a group or a person that put up a custom server for the game. They put their own server for the game so people could play on that server instead of on Rockstar servers. And Rockstar really came down hard on those people, with lawsuits and everything.
Really?
Yeah. So don't no. At this point in time, do not fuck with Rockstar because they will come after your. Unless you are a modder or hacker, then you can do whatever you want.
It's very. Me and Matt were driving around yesterday. We just stopped by the road and money suddenly fell from the sky. And then I bought in my new car. So that was nice. I'm complaining. As long as they give me money, I'm okay.
You can just wish their story will happen in real life.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay if random money just falls from the sky. You can hook up with a hacker and sweet talk him into giving you some money. But the other end of the spectrum is you just driving around and everybody on the server instantly dying, over and over and over and over again.
Yes, the griefing, any griefing modder is the worst sort of person. Just dropping items, killing people. Bah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been fun playing that again.
It's great. I feel like it's one of those things that will never get old. If you want a game, I also think GTA is very pretty. If you want a game just to fly a plane around in, and just like not really even play GTA Online's great for that. It's definitely not a plane simulator, but sort of an open world, realistic, sort of an open world set in our day simulator, sort of sandbox setting. It's great.
Yeah, if you want to play golf all day, play a golf simulator. I mean, like our member Stefan. You can play golf all day. We had a really successful golfing match yesterday, in which I believe you left in like after hitting like the second shot.
I don't like golf. It's maybe one day.
We only had 9 more holes to go.
Yeah, only having to wait for each person to take their shot, and then you aim your ball somewhere, and then it flies off at another place. It's like, why did you tell me it would go there?
Well, the wind direction did.
Yeah. The wind is my greatest enemy.
It's been the story of the Dutch the entire life. Well, no, water and wind.
Water and wind.
So, Joe, you've been to Amsterdam recently, haven't you?
I have. Okay, this is where my rant begins. I'm going to make 1 point. I'm going to make 1 point only.
1 point?
The Anne Frank House such a big old penis. I don't like that place. I walked by it. I told Fondas this. I walked by it on the first day. There's a queue, like going back a few streets. I walked by the other day, and the next day, and all the time, just so many people lining up to go to her house. And I was like, what's the big deal?
Queue in front of that is enormous.
I don't know why everyone's so interested. Like the Rijksmuseum had a smaller queue. I was like, what gives? You know?
Probably also a better visitor policy with multiple counters and stuff.
Yeah. No, but I don't get it. If the Anne Frank is so popular, like there's literally like one till to buy tickets from, and then sometimes you have to pre-order them the day before. I'm not sure how anybody. This would not be stood for in Germany. This is far too inefficient. It's disgusting.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what the Germans said too when they found her. This just doesn't stand.
It doesn't work. It's too slow. And all you go in and you see this Dead Girl's Diary. You know, mildly interesting. It's a nice little house. Personally, wouldn't want to live there myself. Glad she did. And there we go. That's my first rant.
Alright, well, there's no controversy about that whatsoever.
No.
Not at all. I'm very politically correct nowadays.
Not going to have to disable the comment section at all. This is...
No. In all seriousness, it's a very important thing. Very brave girl. But if it was just a tourist attraction, it is the worst tourist attraction created by the Dutch or by any country.
Well, the thing is, like, it's not really created. Like, there was just people just really fucking interested in it, and so Dutch being Dutch, they saw money, and they were like, well, By the way, not it's being both Dutch and Jewish, so they saw money in everything.
Yeah, I would get on disabling those comments.
Alright, that was your first rant.
That's my first rant. Alright, second one, bikes. It's such a big old one as well.
Well, bikes are the shit.
They take priority over people. I don't like it.
Yeah, no, I think bikes really rule the world in the Netherlands. Bicycles, they're more important than people, really.
It's so weird. Like in London, if you walk across the road and a cyclist hits you, it's that cyclist's fault, and everyone makes fun of the cyclist. But in Amsterdam, it is just, it's free for all, It just you walk across the street, beep beep, And they beep, but they don't stop. They're not going to stop. It's just warning you if you're impending
Yeah,
doom.
that's what the beep means. Get out of the way. Not hello. Might I maybe pass? It's get the hell out of the way.
It's very. I can see why people wouldn't like tourists in that city. Because I admit, on the first day, I must have pissed off so many cyclists. Like by the second day, I was fine. I was checking the roads multiple times, making sure I wasn't walking on the bike paths. But on the first day, I was like that obnoxious English guy who was just flipping the bird. Doing the wanker sign to all the cyclists as I walked on the bike lane, proudly yelling my anthem.
Yeah, that will not do at all.
Yeah, I've been told that English tourists are notorious in that city for being obnoxious and rude.
Yes.
And I hope I set a different precedent for that. President.
I wonder that.
No.
I've only ever been threatened by people in Amsterdam, by British people.
That's the thing that I'm so ashamed. Like I went to I was with 2 other Dutch people there, so I had that. But I noticed if I asked anything, I kind of like when I went into a restaurant and they knew I was English, I felt like the lady would talk to my Dutch isn't good enough. She talked to the other guys, asked what they want, very friendly in Dutch. Then she turns to me. And she's like, you piece of shit, what do you want? And I'm like, okay, I'll just have some lukewarm water, please. And no, I could tell she had that, oh, I have to speak English now, boo-hoo kind of feel. And I was like, yeah.
Really?
It might have been that one lady. Maybe she had a problem. Like there's nothing rude about her. And she was nice, but I felt like it was like kind of thing. I kind of felt like that, like.
Make a sign. British Lives Matter. Oh dear.
Alright. Yes, I tried Indonesian food, and I have to admit, curry is still better in my opinion. Indian curry is still better, but it was nice. It was definitely really nice. I'll give it that. It's got a very unique flavour to it.
So the positive thing you've got to say about Amsterdam is Indonesian food.
The best thing about Amsterdam was nothing Dutch. It's just the Indonesian stuff. No. I did like some stuff. So Indonesian stuff was good. Bites didn't like. In terms of drinking and city life, oh my god, your beer is so good. It makes English beer look like pissfaser, as the Germans would say. It's just very rich. Like I don't like lager. I like bitter drinks. I like ales. I like what sort of the house drink. But there, I had a lager and it's just nice. It was nice. Whilst over here, it tastes like just slightly alcoholic water. Nighttime as well. I was walking around the streets at night, and I guess there's some places where it was rough, but I felt very safe. I never felt in danger. It felt calm. It's quite a quiet city compared to London. Marijuana though, that surprised me.
Well,
being English. We talked about this. It's very weird.
But it's also the reason why everyone is very relaxed at night there. It's also the reason why the city is very safe. It's because everybody's way too big. Yeah, everybody's too busy being high and easy.
Yeah, well, Fondas wouldn't know about that.
No.
No. Fondas he doesn't touch that nasty stuff.
I've never even seen that thing.
The marijuana, as the kids say.
Exactly.
Oh god, that's what I remember. I walked by, the tram system you have there. I was with my friends and they were like, "Don't worry, you don't need a ticket." We were slightly cheeky. I didn't buy a ticket when I went on the train because I didn't check. That was my first criminal offence I've done there. I was pulled over.
Right.
My first. I was pulled over. I was pulled over in a boat because apparently the policeman, who was very, very nice, actually, the police were very nice, saw my friend drive by in his boat and thought I was paying him as a tourist for a boat ride. And obviously that's illegal without a permit. So we got pulled over for that. And I spent about 5 minutes explaining that I was his friend. And explaining that I had to try and explain that we knew each other online in a way. Like I obviously didn't live there or was from around there, so I kind of had to explain it. And he was like, yeah, okay, yeah, all right, yeah. He was nice though. He was like, yeah, all right, that's fine, you can go. And I was like, thank you. That's actually only two of my. I didn't do any more things after that. But we walked by a full-on BDSM lesbian sex shop in the middle of like near the tram place. Like it was quite open. I thought it was very weird. It's a very pretty part of town, and then there was just some kinky chains nearby, and I was like, you know what? This is my sort of city.
Well, that's just what it is, you know. Some people have those desires, so why not provide them, and why be so finicky about it?
That would not stand in Her Majesty's.
Well, then maybe.
England.
Well, then maybe Her Majesty's Royal England can kiss my not so royal ass.
Ooh, that's heresy. We have to. No, you found us.
Well, you're gonna have to plant the British flag on Amsterdam soil now.
Gosh. No. But no, overall, nice city. I would go again, but I wouldn't actively choose. It didn't leave a bad taste in my mouth, but I'm not really a city person anyway. Like it's my favourite city I've been to so far, as someone who doesn't really love cities. But I'll stick to just maybe going around the countryside, high as a kite on a bike at some point.
No, but that's a very good exercise to do. I wouldn't know anything about it, of course, but it's a very cool thing to do. Yeah, absolutely, I love it.
Very scared of trying to ride a bike there though, because I feel like.
Yeah, but riding a bike in Amsterdam is way different than riding a bike everywhere else.
I mean, everywhere else it should be all right, but still, I'm just scared that I'd be on a bike and it'd be worse than Dutch kids. They just ride by and make fun of me, and I kind of cry a little bit. It's probably true. It's like,
yeah, well, give me a laugh.
Give me a laugh. Oh no, I'll have to come behind you. I'd be like, you'd have to probably rescue me. I've not ridden a bike in years. You'd never use them here. I rode one maybe when I was a child for a bit. That's it. Ugh. That's my review of the Netherlands, though.
Best vehicle ever.
No, really isn't.
I think it is.
I'll agree to this.
Alright. Well, shall we have a small break then, and then continue in a couple of minutes for section 2 of this episode?
Oh my god. Sounds fantastic.
Alright, so we'll be right back.
Your mother was a dumb old fat ass. Lancel Lannister. What a stupid name.
I think it's quite a good impression now.
John, what's the name of Rob's son? Not Rob Stark, Ned Stark. What's the name of this crippled son?
Rob, obviously.
Crippled son? That's Bran.
He's like, Bran, why are you so fucking crippled?
Oh.
And then you've got all the Lannisters you've got Charles Dance, who's got a little bit like this. No, he's not quite this posh. Oh god, how's he sound? I
played him yesterday.
Charles Dance, he's like... No, I can't do it. I can only do my dirty northern accent, so I can.
I know where to find you, in case I need any northern accents.
Any northern accent? If you need any... Oh god, what was that?
If you need any northern accents?
My voice, like, kind of unbroke itself temporarily there. It's like... Oh, it's hard today.
Potatoes.
I can do whatever accents I can do. I can do a very posh London one though, I must say. You ever need a bit of sophistication in your life? Must be
Well,
said.
that's what the Lannisters are, is that just sophistication.
No, but they're more sort of, I would say, Essex sort of Londoners personally. They're a little more guttural if you listen to them talk. They don't talk like this very much, not at all. It's a bit more angry, I'd say. Charles Dance quite angry when he talks. No, I can't. No, Charles Dance is not very posh. He's supposed to be posh, but he's not really. He sort of is. He's not chavvy or anything, but it's not like, oh my.
No. He's just very correct with his grammar.
Oh yes, he would never have the misfortune of talking like a Northern Stark. Oh, blimey.
Oh man, that part in Game of Thrones when I believe it's Stanley Baratheon is at the wall, and they're in there those the Night Watch talk about people, and there's like, and there's considerably less men, and then Robert Baratheon goes like fewer. What?
Fewer.
What? Never mind.
I think it's fewer men. If you can count it, it's fewer. If it's uncountable, it's less. So you have less water, but fewer men.
Right. I like that part.
Right.
Right. So then let's begin.
Get another of my bad impersonations.
Let's begin with another one of your bad impersonations. What's that?
Myself.
It's a very bad impersonation there. Right. So welcome back to the Axellent Gaming Show, where we talk about impersonations that Josh can do.
Oh,
Oh dear. Or the tea that he drinks.
So yes, I mustn't drink too much during this. It must be sad. But,
Well, I'll tell you this, with the Global Game Jam, I had the honour of working together with a Welshman. And
it was like... No, I can't do a Welsh accent. They're very upbeat, low, like, proper. A Welshman, like rugby.
But he had like the most British thing ever, which is that he had tea everywhere. He just produced tea from his pocket if you ask him.
I need a tea bag, yeah, sure, mate. Got it here.
Well, it actually happened that we were standing away from the place we were working, and then I approached him. I was like, "Hey, Gary, can I like borrow your tea there?" And he just produces it from his pocket. He says, "Oh yeah, I have a bag." That's like the most British thing I'd ever seen in my life. A person just producing tea on the go.
Oh my, yeah, he's a true ambassador of our nation.
Oh, I believe that one of the first British tanks actually had tea makers in them.
Tea makers. I think all tanks after World War II have had tea making facilities on them, I believe.
Really?
Yes, it's a true fact. So the tax payer money goes.
Tea making facilities and material devices.
Is that? I wonder if that's actually a stat in World of Tanks. If you can buy British tanks to have tea making with
Improve your tea making facilities from around.
You have to try and you'd have to talk like this during it. Your tea would be made faster if you can keep up a jolly good accent. Yes.
Well, while we were on the subject of the Global Game Jam, Rudolph, you've been there. Can you tell us more about it? What's this year's Global Game Jam all about?
Absolutely. Fondas.
Yeah.
Fondas.
Yeah. Hello.
Not use my real name.
Beep! So there we got a later beep.
Yeah. It's a bugger if I care.
Yeah.
Anyway, so last week in Global Game Jam, 48 hours of game develop mania. It was lots of fun as usual. I usually go, of course, local, which is that I go to the Netherlands. But seeing how I'm currently stationed in Germany, I went to the Global Game Jam in Munich this year, and was not disappointed whatsoever. So, for those people who don't know, and I explained about it just a little bit in the last podcast, the Global Game Jam is an event where lots of people with just a minute amount of game design abilities come together for a weekend once a year and create a game in 48 hours based on one theme. Now, the theme is held secret throughout the entire year until the moment that the Game Jam starts.
So what was the theme this year?
This year, the theme was Ritual.
Ritual?
Ritual was a very interesting word, because the moment it was revealed, a lot of people just got jamming to it. The first ideas that I had were more of like, your everyday, daily rituals.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that stuck most was, of course, summoning devils. So I guess that we... that was the thing. Like we had a very intellectual debate. There was like a group of people...
Show with the highest quality around. We do not spare.
Yeah, no, it's my headset. It's the USB connection to my headset is just very poor. That sometimes it breaks off and then the sound falls back to my...
You have USB?
Yes. Yes.
I must say, I'm currently using the one that you gave me, and I'm extremely. I'm still in good shape. Yeah, cheers, mate.
I can understand that, but I've got a good headset. I've been using it for these past couple of years extensively, so I need to replace it. But anyway, continuing on the Global Game Jam story.
Continue on the Global Game Jam story. So the word ritual got out. We had a very intellectual discussion. First, just sharing ideas. The first sort of brainstorms that we had. But everything that was sort of intellectual was sort of, that sounds fun. But ritual also sounds like summoning devils. So let's go and make a game about summoning devils. And that was actually that's what happened. The event was great in Munich, though. There were about 80 people in total, 80 to 100 people. They were all set up into teams, and the entire event was free in Munich, which was a shock compared to what I'm used to in the Netherlands. We have to pay 50 euros to get into it.
Yeah, right. I remember that putting me off at some point.
It was free in the beginning, but after, I think, 2 years or something, people saw the opportunity to make money, or let's say it decently, an opportunity to improve, and so therefore to ask money and to offer better services in return. I mean, honestly, because the idea is that in the Netherlands you have a couple of universities that you go to where you can have a game jam, and there they have lunch and breakfast and dinner organized, and they have security at the door, so your stuff will get stolen by people. So it's a fair trade. It's a fair trade. But still, going for free is a lot more easier. So that was and there was pizza. There was pizza, energy drinks, lots of stuff to go with. Everything essential to game designers. Actually, there was quite. No, not Mountain Dew. There was Red Bull.
Terrible.
I think that Monster is obviously the drink for gamers. Red Bull is obviously the drink for designers.
Why? Because they make more money?
No, I have no idea. I just think that because Red Bull's been about for longer, Monster's are more focused on selling themselves to gamers.
Yeah, fair enough.
Free pizza, free Red Bull. There was obviously water, but nobody cared about that. Mostly also because it was German water, and Germans have the awful tendency of making everything.
They actually only had sparkly water.
They actually only had sparkly. It's the only water they had, and they had also water in flavors. So I ended up drinking, the sort of apple flavored water with still sparkling water.
Oh dear.
But yeah, the only option I got of drinking normal water was the tea that I got from the World Sky.
So this is just an announcement to all Germans. I mean, Dandy and I go to Germany. Dandy now goes to Germany a lot more often, but we go to Germany once in a while as well. And what's up with that sparkling water, man? What's up with that sparkling water? I mean, come on. Nobody likes sparkling water except you guys. Stop with it. Stop with it, really. Just have normal water everywhere.
Yeah. I also don't get that sort of sparkling water is called the original water everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, that's even more disgusting. Because you go to the supermarket, you buy original water, and it has sparkling in it.
Then you guys know water comes out sparkling. Oh God. Only the Germans know about it, though. It's kept secret. Only the Germans have the power to distill natural water, quote unquote, original water.
with added sparkles to it, yeah. I think that might just be a thing.
Oh no, this is just put that away. But continuing on.
Right, so Global Game Jam had a great team. We started out at 5 people, ended up with 4. One guy had to go. So it was me, 2 German fellas, and a guy from Wales. And unlike what I'm so extremely used to every game jam I've been at, we had a huge amount of programmers.
Oh, that's nice.
There were too many programs. There were no art people. So obviously I went to the game jam as a game designer, as a writer, and partially as an art person. Since those are sort of Hello.
It's gone. Continue. I forgot to turn off my phone.
Alright, so Fondas was important right there. So I ended up with a team of like 3 programmers and myself, and I ended up being the only person who could do art, which I'm not terrible at, but I'm not the best at it, especially not for games. Yeah, I've been spending most of the time making the art for the game, and when I do that, it's just pixel art. So I've been 48 hours straight of making pixel art. That was a lot of fun though. You come again.
Pixel devils, basically.
Yeah, little pixel demons that you could summon. Yeah. So the gameplay, the thing was we wanted to make a mobile game, and we thought it would be really cool if you have like your pentagram. You have your 5 points, and you just add ingredients to every point. Like you have a little inventory. You have a couple of items you can bring with you. You put them at every point. Then you can swipe with your finger the figure of the pentagram, and then summon your devil. Or we called them spirits, obviously, since we didn't want to impose too many devil worship in there. Also, actually the first one was we had a story going on, but we ended up not having enough time for the story. So, yeah, it was really like the fun thing about the Global Game Jam is that you really have like a game development experience, in just the complete game development experience in the shortest amount of time ever. So that includes all the drama that you might have on game development teams. That includes all the stress that comes with it. And one of the things that most gamers get introduced with, and not everybody always understands, is feature creep and the cutting away of features. So one of the reasons why most games end up feeling like they're not finished is because they're not finished. It's because at some point you have to finish your game and release it, and you have to cut away the features that were originally intended for the game but just don't make it into it. And the fun thing about the Global Game Jam is it's always the same thing. You always think about, all right, this let's make a small game, let's make a small one. What we can make in 48 hours? We'll make one game design from function. Around that we'll design the entire game, and then we could just copy and paste the game design function several times and just make different levels for it, sort of that idea. However, for example, in this case, the thing that was supposed to be extremely easy, which was the user interface, ended up being extremely difficult. And so we spent about 3/4 of the time getting the user interface fixed. And so we ended up not having no time whatsoever to make the extra levels. So even the most simplest of games still always find a way to fail. But nevertheless, there was lots of fun, there was lots of laughing, and I really, really advise people, anybody who has like the basic inclination of wanting to make games, to join the Global Game Jam next year in January, because it's lots and lots of fun.
Alright, so is your game that is not finished, is it available somewhere? Oh God.
The main game design feature is playable,
yeah.
And we ended up being, I think, one of there were about 10 teams, and we were one of 2 who ended up presenting a fixed game.
Okay.
A finished game.
Okay.
So a playable game with a beginning, middle, and end. We can put the link in the YouTube description, can we? The game was called Ritual. Ritual. The theme was called Ritual. The game was called The Apprentice, and you can find the link down below. I'm just going to say that because I always wanted to say that. I always hear people say that on YouTube.
It's a very good thing to say. It's so cool. I'm going to repeat it. You can find the link to the game The Apprentice down below.
Do you guys remember? Sorry to cut you off on that.
Yeah,
oh my God!
It's my moment. It was my moment in the sun.
I've stolen your moment there. I'm gonna have my own moment here,
I'm
gonna say you can check the link on the right side of the video because back in the old days it was there. Thank you.
Oh man, back in the old YouTube days. Tell you what. You know what's funny? Just as a little side thing. Since I am called the DandyBanterer, so I'm allowed to banter a little bit.
Absolutely.
You know that Facebook sort of has that thing going on where every time you log in, they say, "Here's a memory of 5 years ago."
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys use. Yeah. So I logged into Facebook, I think, quite recently, and it showed me a memory of 5 years ago, when I had a complete and angry rant on Facebook about the change in YouTube, and I saw the old layout, and I was like, "Oh man, I miss that so much. Oh, I miss the old YouTube so much. It's not that the current YouTube is not bad. It's not terrible, but it used to be better. So it's terrible that they had to make it more available, I guess, for.
Yeah, it's also like I'd argue with most of the internet, like there's a charm to things like mumble, like very old mumble, that old like noise you'd hear when somebody talks. There's like sort of nostalgia to old chat rooms and stuff, like the sort of shittier days of the internet.
Oh yeah.
Now everything's so damn clean. Ugh.
Yeah, no. My SQL.
Clean is the future, man. Clean is the scene of the future.
Well, the thing that I when we're talking about sort of things being clean, Dutch people used to have sort of their own Facebook called Hives, which was a bit like MySpace, where you had the opportunity to sort of just personalize your own little page. I really miss that. I miss that. Facebook is not like that at all.
To personalize your own page.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can add a banner, but yeah, other than that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it.
Right.
I just passed you the link right now.
Very good. No, remind me to put it in later.
Yeah.
And if it's not put in, then feel free to scream in the comment sections.
Right.
We'll definitely look at it. So, about this new section, game jobs available in the game industry.
Oh right, game jobs available in the games industry. So I made a nice little list of game jobs, and I just wanted to start off saying that, guys, if you're listening and you're looking for a job in the games industry, there are loads of them.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of jobs available in the industry, and maybe I'll get the opportunity every time that we have this section to talk about the best strategies to get into it, and the things that I have personally found out in my search for other work that I'm doing right now. But this time I want to just talk about some of the functions, the writing functions that are out there, and then slowly move into esports, since I know you guys love esports. So surprisingly enough, I've been looking at both the Valve website and the BioWare website, and they're not looking for narrative designers nor writers.
Alright, fair enough.
Wow.
So even though they had like very talented people moving away there, I think that somebody else inside probably promoted to the position that they left behind. However, for those who are interested, Fable Labs, from obviously from the studio that makes Fable, has a studio in San Francisco, and they're looking for 2 writers right now, which is a narrative writer and a comic game writer. And I quite like the fact that the comic game writer one has, as an application, you have to write a comic text to get into it. So this is in San Francisco. This is obviously the States. So if you're interested for that, please have a look at the Fable Labs website. Other than that, we were just talking about Telltale.
Ooh, Telltale's jobs available?
Yes, absolutely. Telltale has a couple of jobs available. Not many game design jobs, but for the students out there, they have a 10-week paid internship as a writer. So if you want to start your career as a game writer, please do so at Telltale, because god damn it, that looks nice on your CV, on your resume, I should say. Speaking of which, also Blizzard is also looking for a writing intern. So these are stuff that if I had known back in the days when I was still studying that I could get an internship at Telltale or Blizzard, dear Lord, my internship would have looked a lot different. Right, so we got those going. Now, since we had mentioned Telltale and Blizzard, I'd just like to mention that Blizzard, Telltale, Riot Games, and Activision, and also Big Point, by the way, but Big Point is a German studio, are all still looking for narrative designers. So for those people who don't know, a narrative designer is a game designer with the basic function of, being busy with the narrative of or the story of the game, as you might imagine. And narrative designers is sort of a quite a recent development in game design, where people who are not just writers but are just focused on making the game design work compared with the story as well. So Blizzard, Telltale, Riot Games, and Activision, guys, have a look at that. They've got websites, all with nice little career pages in there as well. Now,
yeah, you talked about esports too. Yeah,
esports, Riot Games, the guys who make League of Legends. They have a huge list of jobs, and I'll tell you that they have esport functions all around the world. So they have them in the States, they have them in Europe, they have them in China, they have them everywhere. So wherever you are, have a quick look at their website, because they're looking for broadcasters, they're looking for sport writers, they're looking for coordinators, they're looking for artists, they're looking for any type of people who are willing to, make esports a big effing success, specifically around League of Legends, obviously. With that said, Riot Games does have a ton of functions open for all the studios all over the world. So Berlin, and obviously in Russia and in China, they also have studios. So other than esports stuff, they also have other things. So please have a look at their website. And yeah, that's just a quick update on the current functions as they are. I would just like to add that what I just said about Riot Games, that they have sort of studios all over the world and they all have options. It goes for all major studios. Blizzard, CD Projekt Red, Ubisoft, EA, obviously. They continuously have functions open, not all of them for designers. And game design is obviously the most well sought after job for most people in the world who want to do something with games, because programming is quite difficult. Art is a talent that you have or you don't. And a lot of people just like having their ideas put on paper and worked out by other people.
Yeah. Just
to let you know, that's never going to happen. Those functions exist, but they're already filled up by people who are far more qualified than you are, so you will never ever get that function. However, I had the distinct pleasure of talking with the lead narrative designer of CD Projekt Red, of the guy who basically worked on all the Witcher games and was, well, the lead story man for Witcher 3. He started out as a game tester. He started out in what is called Q&A, or quality assurance. And one thing that I can tell you from my experience that I've had so far is that if you want to get into the industry, if you want to get a proper design function, or you have little to no skill, go for quality assurance. Also known as game testing. If you have like a very minor education in something tech related, if you have been working in a tech industry but just want to go into something that you love a lot more, every major studio in the world is looking for QA. Every minor studio in the world is looking for QA. Game testers are important. People who have money and can afford it want their games tested, and want to be able to have people on the job full time who can assure the quality of a game before it is released. So yeah, quality assurance. If you haven't heard of that term yet, Google it. I'll definitely give you that. And
well, that sounds like a real interesting one. That's easy to get into if you already have a lot of knowledge of playing video games, already have a little bit of education in the technical aspects, which you probably do if you play a lot of video games.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm definitely going to take a look at that. You've inspired me.
Lovely. Next time we'll talk about localization as an easier step up into the industry. But until then, I'd like to invite everybody to look into the website Game Dev Maps. That's gamedevmaps.com, which has a list of all game design companies, noteworthy game design companies around the world, listed according to each country. And you can see there who are developers, who are publishers, who do online stuff, who do mobile stuff. And that will also give you like a nice overview, and all of them are linked with websites as well. So they will give you a nice overview of which companies are nearby you, nearby your town, nearby your city, and where you could potentially apply to.
All right, pretty good. Pretty good. So
yeah.
That brings us to the end of that section, I do believe. Luckily, we have a lot to talk about in the "Which games have you played lately" section. At least I have a lot to talk about. Wait? Oh dear.
How about we talk about Guitar Hero? It's up in here.
I oversaw that.
Because I read that the notorious JLP has something to say about it.
Notorious JLP is here. Spitting some hot verses, listen up, kids.
It's Guitar Hero. There we go.
Ranting. Okay, so I won't go on about Guitar Hero, but basically they've made it look like very strange POV porn. You like if you look at gameplay, you're playing, but you're kind of like they try and get you there. Like you're trying to have like this. You're on a stage, and the other actor's there, and there's a crowd, and when you play, the crowd reacts. So but it ends up looking like very, very weird. Kinky porn. So that having some guitars in it.
So what can I imagine it is like first person Guitar Hero?
It's first person Guitar Hero now. Like it's like the floating guitar neck that you have with the fretboards is completely the same. It's just now like you're kind of interacting more, which is nice. But my biggest complaint, I say this once and I say it a million times, you might as well just go and learn guitar. There's a great game called Rocksmith 2014 on Steam. That's Rocksmith. It works like Guitar Hero, but you just have to pay the actual things. The lessons built in. There's techniques. It's a great way, and it's just no guitar. Guitar Hero is boring. Like you watch it and you're just hitting like 3 notes. It's like,
You say that it's boring, but I must say I've played both Guitar Hero and Rocksmith. And what I find cool about Rocksmith is that you can use your own electrical guitar. You can just plug it into your computer and it takes it. That's really cool. But Guitar Hero has been a lot of fun for me to play with friends, to play on parties.
I'm too much of a try-hard Fondas, must be said.
You can try very hard on that game, believe me.
Yeah. I would really love is Rocksmith made a competitive mode like Guitar Hero.
Oh, that would be cool.
That would be really cool. If you could invite people over or plug in your guitars with a little argument over who's better, and then you can finally settle it in Rocksmith.
If you little rock and roll and metal LAN party.
That'd be fantastic, actually. God damn. I'll work on it.
Alright, you get that.
So JLP, why did you want to bring Guitar Hero up?
Why do I want to bring Guitar Hero up? Because I think it just shows how bad that sort of industry has gotten, that sort of genre of the gaming industry. I mean, in the mid-2000s, there was a lot of sort of music games. There was like those dance games you could get. Guitar Hero's big. There was another game like Guitar Hero. Rock Band, was it?
Rock Band, yeah.
Yeah, and now they're all dead, and I think it just shows how it was like a niche market anyway, and that now that they're trying to resurrect it with the new controller style, it was sort of you might call it a hype or a fad, something that came up with the idea that peripheral games are a thing. You know, you can actually make a game around a specific controller and make it work as long as you know your audience. Because Guitar Hero was focused on, people who want to play guitar without having to learn exactly how to play guitar, and just want to have the experience of having like a guitar-shaped object in your hand and playing air guitar, but actually then winning achievements with it. Guitar is a good amount of fun.
It's worked pretty well for that, but indeed it is a hype type of market. That is about over.
Rock Band, on the other hand, I never really got it, because at that point, sort of, I am the type of person who does sort of air drumming. I tend to sort of just do that every now and again when I listen to metal. Mm-hmm. But to have like the drum thing worked, crazily enough.
It works.
It was terrible, especially because the plastic sound when you hit it. It sort of, it made you want to stop hitting it.
It's this rubber thump sound. So dum, dum, dum. But indeed, and in a lot of ways, the rock edition, and I got Guitar Hero itself came with that eventually. So I believe in Guitar Hero 5, which I own, it came with like a microphone, and you can use the microphone and 2 guitars and a drum set. And the drum set is, strangely enough, learns you how to drum way better than the guitar learns you how to play guitar. Because you are actually going into the rhythm of playing, which is all that is needed to play drums. Just know the rhythm and know where to place your hands, and that's what you're training also when you're doing it on the Guitar Hero shaped drum style object.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. But to be honest, to bring up the reason I brought up Guitar Hero and the reason I conclude with, I feel like it's the idea of peripherals, I think, is sort of gone now. It's a bit niche until we see how far something like the Oculus Rift can go and how far virtual reality peripherals can go. I think it's like things like the Wii as well. I think that sort of idea of controls in your hand, I don't know, never did anything for me. So I'll say don't play fucking guitar. Don't play the new Guitar Hero.
Don't play the new Guitar Hero. Just take an axe to it.
Alright, so talking about playing games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to segue into here. So Fondas,
Yes.
you were super excited to start talking about
yes.
what you've been playing. And I just wanted to ask this one question.
Yes.
What have you been eating recently?
Oh, wow.
Yesterday I ate a pizza.
Right. Surprise there. You're really getting in touch with your audience, aren't you?
No, I eat pizza about once a week or once every 10 days. So it's keeping it small. And spinach was the shit.
Nice.
Just
Very
like potato croquettes, which nobody else but the Dutch know. Potato croquettes are like these potatoes wrapped in dough, and then shoved in the oven or the oil, like the boiling oil, and you get potato snacks, sorta. It's really nice.
Exactly that.
So yeah, that's my eating.
Alright, so now we have your eating covered. Go ahead, Fondas. Please tell us. Have you been playing any games recently?
I've been playing a bunch of games, actually. Skipping over GTA Online and Spanish, since you already talked about it. But I've played Naval. I've picked up Naval Action, which is a open world style game, multiplayer game, in which you control a ship, a 17th century style naval warship, and you control it in the Caribbean. And you are a member of one of, I believe, 8 factions. I believe the British are in there, the Americans are in there, the Pirates are in there, the Dutch are in there, the Spanish are in there, the Swedish are in there, and the Danish-Norwegian fleet is in there. Probably missing out on one, maybe the Portuguese. Don't know. But there is this open world set of system in which the nations go and attack each other's ports and have giant naval battles on the ocean. Travel is of course really far because naval travel in that time period was really long and boring, except for the storms you'll hit. But other than that, it's also just there's also a battle section in which you just take your ship and you go with 2 groups, 2 nations against each other, about 25 ships to 25 ships, and you just sail on a line or break up the line and be a douche and allow the enemy to win. But it's nice. It's if you're really interested in that kind of stuff, pick it up. If you're mildly interested in this stuff, don't pick it up just yet because it's still in development.
Right.
It's a cool game. Other than that, Darkest Dungeon.
The what?
Darkest Dungeon.
Oh, I've seen that game.
Mm-hmm. It's a sort of indie game. It's a roguelike light.
We had a major discussion about that last time.
Yeah, we had a major discussion about that. But it's a game in which you have these different heroes. You are the Lord of a Mansion. You have these different heroes, and you send these heroes out on adventures in this sort of the family estate that has gone dark, and all these horrors have popped up. And it's a sort of side-scrolling RPG in that state. There's a very cool announcer in that game, kind of on par with the Bastion announcer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's really cool. So, say your character.
Is he an announcer or a narrator? Like, does
A
he
bit of
talk
both.
story?
A bit of both, because he talks about the story, but he also talks about what happened in the story mode. So I guess narrator. Say for instance, your character scores a crit on a enemy skeleton, and as a result of that, your party becomes more gets more morale. Then he now goes like, with a thundering clap, he smashes that enemy to the ground.
That is really cool.
Yeah, or when you get hit really hard, the narrator goes, with one hit, death draws suddenly near. Death suddenly draws near, and it's really cool. So that's a really good part of the game. Other than that, it's just a discovery. It's a dungeon crawl, a side-scrolling dungeon crawler. You select these different points on the map, and you walk towards that through a side scroll. And on your way, you get different objectives. Gather resources on par with Mass Effect, although not on par with Mass Effect, but it's that same kind of system in which you control a dude and there's two others with you. It's a third-person shooter, and you can give commands to your companions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a game set in the early days of Xcom, so in the 1950s, 1960s, when the first alien contact arrived, the first alien invasion. You are Agent William Carter, and you are a CIA agent that becomes a member of Xcom, and you set out to battle the alien invasion in some way or another. So you go through this level and shoot up a lot of aliens and discover a lot of stuff. The setting is really, of course, Xcom, like really eerie. And also really 1950s, 1960s. For instance, the secret base you walk around in is constantly set with a lot of smoke everywhere, because literally everyone in that building is smoking. So the entire building is just blue all the time. There's a lot of cool effects in there. So playing that. Other than that, oh yeah, Banished and GTA Online. We've already talked about that.
You've been playing a lot of games.
Yeah, I've been playing a bunch of games.
No surprise there.
And you, Dandy?
I've been, well, recently I had a game jam, so I had the opportunity to play a lot of independently developed games. All concerning the theme of ritual. So I've been playing a couple of music games. People who had sound designers on the team made games where you just, a bit like Guitar Hero, you have sort of a rhythm-based, press this button and that button based on what music.
Mm-hmm.
There were some very interesting multiplayer games for the mobile, where a team made a game where you basically play a small Inca character together with other people. You could team up by scanning a QR code.
Yeah.
Then the game would be hosted on a server, and up to 12 people, I think, could play a running game about who could who could reach the volcano the fastest and jump in there with a nice little bomb dive to sacrifice yourself to the gods. That was really hilarious.
Okay, that sounds really fun.
And there was actually a team there who had the Oculus Rift. So they were the VR team who made a game where you are the ritualist leader of a sort of island, a small little island tribe that is worshipping the sun. And you get to do a couple of things where you were able to hit the gong, in a sort of rhythm. Once again, this was a rhythm type game. But also the thing that sort of, that everybody laughing was that an essential part of the game was you had to worship the sun. So you had to get on your knees and actually bow down to the sun.
That's great. I really miss those sort of survival island games they used to make.
Yeah, that really is a thing, isn't it?
I want them back. There's one thing I want back. You know what? You can take fucking Guitar Hero. I just want a new good Settlers game.
Settlers.
Or
yeah.
No, Settlers. Here's 5 people on an island. Make them have kids and research and boats and expand to other islands like that. I want one of those.
Well, I guess that Robinson Crusoe will be a very nice game to play.
Yeah.
As a story. But yeah, other than that, I had a LAN party with my brothers about a week ago. I was back in the Netherlands for a short spot, and we settled down. We had our computers together, and we played Heroes of Might and Magic, number 5, mind you. And that was just a blast to just sit down and old-fashioned, sit in the room, have some of that monster cans there. I was there as a gamer and I was a developer for once. And bags of crisps and just your pizza, and just play a game that takes a shit ton of your time.
Right.
And I think we then ended up playing Heroes of the Storm for the rest of the evening together. But yeah, man, Heroes of Might and Magic. That really is one of those games that I have lots of fun memories with, especially with my brothers.
As well. Yes, I remember. I remember the first one I played was 5, and I don't know what happened, or maybe it was 4. I think it was 4. They had those animated backgrounds for the cities, but in 5 they removed them. I'm not sure why they did that.
No, they had them in 5. They removed them in 6.
That was it. I played 5 then. 5 was the first one I played.
Yeah.
Right, because 4 is the Heroes of Might and Magic that nobody talks about. Although
like
it might be
Zelda
replaced.
games,
Although it might be replaced with Heroes of Might and Magic 7.
That's a terrible thing to be even worse than Heroes of Might and Magic.
But I picked up Heroes of Might and Magic 2 is the first one I actually played, and Heroes of Might and Magic 3 I played extensively.
Oh yes. So that's me and my brothers. We played that game a lot. We played that game seriously a lot because we had a sort of a PC in the living room, and we hosted that game just continuously. So that also became sort of like a family habit. So coming together again and having a LAN party and playing Heroes of Might and Magic 5, and now we're all sort of adults. I say sort of adults. We got our own little laptops going with our high-end graphics cards and stuff like that, so we can play them on our own. We don't have to wait for each other anymore. That was a huge improvement. But it was just fun at some point to just switch back to hot seat mode and just play turn-based, because one of my friends who lives around the corner there too came over, and he never played the game, but he just observed us playing it, and he really got the gist of why we liked it so much, because there were just 3 of these massive nerds sitting there, talking about strategies and about which monster is the best against that monster, and how the best startup strategies are, and which resources you need to take in the beginning and all that stuff. And we're talking about like the most serious thing in the world, as gamers can do, and that's just a beautiful thing to see, I guess. Probably just like people having like a VR headset on and bowing down to empty space.
I saw a video the other day about, it was a prank video in which they invited people to do a limbo on the street with like these 2 cool dressed up guys with a limbo stick. And they said, "All right, do this limbo, but you gotta do it blindfolded." So they put the blindfold on the person, and then when the person started to limbo, they just picked up the pole and ran away. So this person would be limboing in thin air, and people.
What are you doing? Yeah. I've seen that video.
I've seen the ones people on roller coasters where they stand up and then they suddenly try to sit down as fast as they can. I cannot wait for virtual reality horror on a treadmill. My body's ready. My body's so ready for that. I would, I think the thing that would turn gamers into the most healthy people was if you got a game like Skyrim and you had to physically run when you wanted to sprint. There was no sprint bar, it's just how much you could run. I'm sorted then. I would go and join the Olympics next year. I'd be so in shape. I saw it on TF2.
There are really a couple of games or a couple of systems out there that have their own ways of getting over with the treadmill and walk around in 360.
Absolutely, and I believe it has been applied to Battlefield 4 and 5 and etc. It has also been applied to Skyrim. I've seen some of those videos around where they combined the Oculus Rift with such a treadmill, and I believe a Wii thingy to do Skyrim. But yeah, that would be really cool.
So
I believe they have the app called Zombies Run, which is an app which you can install, and it tags how long you run, and during your running you hear these zombies things, so you get objectives to go to on your map, and you have to run to that map to gather resources.
That's definitely JLP. If you wanna get in fit and play games, then Zombies Run is the best game for you, I guess.
Zombies Run. I'll try that out.
Yeah.
You have to have a mobile phone for it, but it is a shit ton of fun. And by the way, talking about VR and walking around, the Virtuox Omni is the thing we're looking for, which has sort of a platform that you can stand on, where you apply a specific type of shoes, and they can sort of glide gracefully over the platform, which allows you the option to just run around in one.
Alright, sounds
Wow.
back.
I just checked out the trailer a little bit for Zombies Run. That's a pretty goddamn good idea.
Yeah.
The only thing that actually still scares me to this day are zombies. Well done, zombie horror. That is the one thing that will legitimately still scare me if it's done well in a slow horror way. So if I had zombie droning, I would be gone. Bam.
Well, there you go.
I should outrun a Dutchman on a bike.
Oh, that's a bold statement right there.
I'm coming over right now.
Come on, we're down at Zombies Run, and you'll come over and we'll make a video of it.
100,000 subs. I'll do it for that. Okay, so
Wow.
get your friends to sub. I'll do a run-in.
Sweet stuff. We'll make an announcement of that. I'll make an alternate reality game to promote the idea.
Nice.
So JLP, what have you played recently?
All right, I'm gonna choose one game and I'm gonna hammer in on that. Okay.
Maybe.
Dark Souls. I played Dark Souls for the first time in my life.
The first one?
For the first time. It is the best game I think I've played in a long, long time. It is incredible.
Wow.
Oh my god. It is.
Why?
It's so good. You start off with no idea, you're naive, but the game builds difficulty in a very smart way. Like the first boss you fight, you think he's really hard the first time, but he's very easy when you play the game again on like the harder difficulty mode, because his attacks hit like a truck, but he's very well animated. Like you can clearly see when he's going to attack, so it teaches you how to dodge and roll and when to get cocky and when not to. And as it gets on, this like you can't just hide behind your shield as much. And the lore, the music, oh my god. If you haven't played Dark Souls, play Dark Souls. That's the only thing I'm going to say. I regret it.
You enjoyed the brutal reality of being punished over and over and over.
The thing is, everyone says, "Oh, you know, I feel salty after playing Dark Souls." It's unfair. It's never unfair, that game. Like that's what I like about it. It will never hold your hand, but it won't screw you over for the wrong reasons. Like when you die in a boss fight, you knew it was your fault. It was never the game just being salty or stupid about it. That's why I like it so much.
No. That's what I mean. Like Dark Souls is infamous for that.
Yeah.
Just simply for the fact that the game itself is extremely hard.
It's hard. Like you
And it's
feel like an
unforgiving.
accomplishment. It's an accomplishment. Like there was a boss fight with two bosses, Ornstein and Smough, and they're the first bosses in the game where it's two at once. And I spent weeks in this fight. And I finally did it, and then I finished the game, and it just, like, I now feel like I've changed as a person after playing Dark Souls. I now put all my games on hardest difficulty. I enjoy dying in games now. I like the challenge. It will change as a person. Play Dark Souls.
So good. Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, I did play Dark Souls a bit, but it's definitely on my to-do list.
Oh, please do. Like once you get into the lore and stuff, and you realize what you're doing, it's like wow, fantastic.
Yeah, no, Dark Souls really is one of the greatest games ever made, and I really hope that they carry on making these games. Although the lore is not going to last forever, that's the difficult thing.
It's like Freelook's good though. Freelook's promising. We've got the old creator back, because obviously Dark Souls 2 is not very good. It must be said.
It seems to be good, but less good than Dark Souls 1.
It is not awful. It's just it's not what like you like Dark Souls for the immersion and the feeling and the grittiness. Dark Souls 2 kind of everything got a little weird. It's like it's ugly teenage stage. But hopefully 3 will be the nice mature stage afterwards. It's all grown up now.
All right. Well, I want to put an end to this episode, to this show.
For once and for all.
Not for once and for all, but for once and a couple more times. So, JLP, I wish to thank you for coming on today.
I don't know my paycheck.
Well, I'm not sure. You accept YouTube cents.
I will take one Reddit upvote for my time on this show.
Ooh. Ooh, I don't know if I can do that.
Alright, I'm off then. Worst show I've ever been on.
So,
It was an absolute pleasure working with you, JLP. Just lovely to have
thank
you on the
you.
show.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you.
alright. So, thank you all for listening, and we hope to see you back again. So, bye-bye.
Salut!
Bye, boy.